Welcome to the Halftime Show, your world of sports in half the time. I'm Colton DeBiase.
And I'm Tenuta.
And we are going to start things off by talking about the dominating performance by the Pittsburgh Steelers, with their 38-29 win over in-state rival, the Philadelphia Eagles. The big performer for the Steelers was rookie wide receiver Chase Claypool, who scored 3 touchdowns and had 110 yards, according to ESPN. So, Ben, what did you think of the Steelers, and how would you assess the dominating performance by the rookie wide receiver out of Notre Dame?
It's crazy to believe that the Steelers are 4-0 for the first time in our lifetime after so many great teams, but they came out there and they played. The offense played great. They ran the offense around Chase Claypool, and he looked excellent. I mean, we haven't seen a lot of plays to him, in the beginning of the season, but after this last game, really target and somebody to watch out for the rest of the season.
Now, the Eagles were a little bit of a shock to me because I was not expecting to start off so slow into the season. But Ben, I want to get to now to the Steelers' next performance, which will be against the Cleveland Browns. And also, not to mention, this will be Myles Garrett's first return against the Steelers against the helmet situation last year with Mason Rudolph. So, Ben, Mike Tomlin mentioned that he's not focused on Myles Garrett, and neither is the team. They're just focused on simply playing Cleveland. But how do you think that Myles Garrett is going to play, knowing that he was suspended because of the Steelers?
He's definitely going to play with a lot of anger. I mean, this is going to be a big game for him. We haven't seen him since, what happened last year. And I think the Steelers are doing the right thing, not focusing on him. They shouldn't. They should focus on just winning this game and advancing. Cleveland's going to be a tough team, and Myles Garrett's going to be really a key point in this game. It's going to be exciting to watch. I'm excited. I think the Steelers are going to overcome the Browns. I mean, being a Pittsburgh fan, this is a really big game.
Now switching over to the other side of the ball with the Cleveland, they're going to be going up against Baker Mayfield. So how would you assess Baker this season? Now, the Browns are 3-1. I mean, Baker has had a few throws that I wish he would have took back. But how do you think the Steelers defense matches up against Baker Mayfield and also their big playmaker, wide receivers in Jarvis Landry and Odell Beckham Jr.?
Well, we've seen the Cleveland's offense has been pretty exciting this year. I know we saw them against Dallas, a terrible Dallas defense though. But they had a bunch of trick plays. They had Landry throwing the football. They had Beckham throwing the football. So I don't think Baker Mayfield's going to be really important in this game. I don't really think he's an elite quarterback, to be honest with you. But their offense is really good. They're talented. And I think this Steelers defense is really going to have to toughen up this week because this is going to be one of the biggest matchups they've had all year. But I think the Steelers defense is going to overcome and stop the Cleveland Browns offense.
Yeah, I guess we'll have to see, Ben, as the Steelers are 4-0, for the first time since 1979, as Ben mentioned, and also the Ravens and the Browns are right behind them. So we'll have to see how things play out. And on the way, we will discuss the championship series for the MLB postseason, and we'll see some new faces. And will we, see some new faces in the World Series compared to the last couple of years? We'll be right back.
What's one word to describe CAB?
Welcoming.
Community.
Creative.
Experiences.
Family. Openness.
Pineapple.
The Campus Activities Board is a student-run organization that consists of 7 different committees. Each focuses on event planning, marketing, and administrative activities. Join us in organizing the juiciest events on campus, from late-night bingo to festive dances to our team bonding meetings. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Point Park Cap, or like us on Facebook at Campus Activities Board at Point Park University.
Good evening.
evening and welcome to Newsnight. I'm Josh Troop alongside Jess Paterchak.
Defending his decision to kick out 15 Cuban diplomats from the United States.
Thanks, Allison. Fitness on Demand has returned to Point Park.
Residents fear that Mount Agung will have a repeat of 1963's eruption.
Two-star NFL quarterbacks made the headlines this week after wrapping up.
Well, thank you so much for joining us this evening. That's your news tonight. For Nick Tomarello, I'm Alex Grubbs. Have a great night.
Welcome back. The shortened MLB season is coming down to the wire as both the National League and the American League Championship Series are underway, with the Tampa Bay Rays holding a 2-0 series lead against the Houston Astros and the Atlanta Braves taking a 1-0 series lead yesterday over the Los Angeles Dodgers. And they are actually playing as we speak, as they currently have a 3-0 lead over the Dodgers in the top of the fifth. Now, Ben, I want to first start off with the ALCS, as the Tampa Bay Rays are up 2-0 against the Houston Astros. Do you think the Rays are going to be able to close this out and advance to the World Series for the first time since 2008, or can the Astros still have some, or do the Astros, still have some magic left in them?
Houston looks absolutely great. Not Houston, sorry. Tampa Bay looks absolutely great right now, and Houston is really falling short. I mean, it's going to be tough for them to come back in this series. And, you know, I hate to say it, but the only chance Houston may be able to come back is if they did what they did a couple years ago, as we all know from this past season. But, yeah, it's going to be tough for them to come back, and I can't see them coming back in this series. Tampa Bay looks absolutely great right now. The pitching looks great, and, you know, their bats are hot.
Man. You know, Ben, one stat about the Rays that really interested me, this is according to RaysColoredGlasses.com. Here are the Rays when leading after 6 innings. They are 33-1 after leading after 7th innings, undefeated 30-0, and then leading after 8 innings, 37-0. So it really does seem like the Rays know how to put games away, and therefore, do you really think that they can maybe possibly sweep the Astros, knowing that they are so dominant with closing out games this season?
Yeah, that's a really amazing stat to have. I think they can. I think they can really, you know, win the series and sweep them. Houston has been struggling, and we've seen that. The pitching has been struggling, obviously. But, you know, the Rays, they look great right now, and if they keep doing what they're doing, as we can see from they consistently are undefeated after winning so many innings, they can do it. I won't be surprised if they will sweep them and go to the World Series.
Now switching over to the NLCS. It was announced earlier today that Clayton Kershaw, the Dodgers' star ace for the past couple of seasons, was scrapped for Game 2 today. Now, Ben, being down 1-0 is not the end of the world, excuse me. I mean, teams can come back from that. But do you really think that the Dodgers can really make some noise this season without Kershaw, or do you think they need him?
Yeah, it's going to be tough for the LA Dodgers right now without Kershaw, having a veteran guy that's been in moments like this before playing in the postseason. You know, they had a rookie out there tonight, and they're already down, losing in the game. It's going to be tough on that bullpen. You know, they really need somebody in that pen that really it's been in those situations before. I mean, Kershaw could coach him through it, but you know, I really like the Dodgers' chances coming in there and coming into the series. But right now, it looks like the Atlanta Braves are on a roll right now.
Yeah, and that starting a pitcher that you mentioned, Ben, was Tony Gonsolin. Yeah, so I mean, I'm curious to see how the Braves are going to do. I mean, they have been pretty consistent over the past couple of years, but we are going to have to leave it there. Coming up next, we are going to discuss the frenzy that is NHL free agency, with familiar faces in new places all across the league. You won't want to miss it.
All right, we're ready.
Oh, no. You are right here.
Is the win really necessary, guys? We need the win. Okay.
You go take awful. You. Awful.
Okay, I need someone to make me laugh.
Where's Wyatt? Wyatt's always late, duh.
I'm here. Jealous?
Get out of my way! Stop!
Cool, okay. And now, let's smile. There's a lot of noise going on. A lot of noise.
3, 2, 1.
Here at the Pioneer sideline,
we covered the real sports.
On another season, the Penguins are just getting started with the regular season this week.
Pioneer Sideline.
The show that starts your Friday mornings has returned with both familiar and new faces. Daybreak host Taylor Fife and Delaney Bomas are bringing you the latest updates in Pittsburgh and Point Park news. We also have a variety of talent on our free segments. Whether it be singing, dancing, or indeed egg smashing. Start your mornings with us at Daybreak on UView at UView Television.
Welcome back. As we mentioned, NHL free agency began last week with a lot of new goaltenders in new places, such as longtime Rangers goalie Henrik Lundqvist signing with the Washington Capitals and Washington goalie Braden Holtby signing with the Vancouver Canucks. And as you can see, Ben is joining me at the desk because we have two new people coming on. We have E.J. Dwyer making his halftime show debut, and welcoming back to the halftime show, Taylor Spirito. Guys, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks, guys.
Now, EJ, I want to get your thoughts, and then Taylor, we'll go to you. So, which goalie out of all of them signing with new teams is going to make the most impact on their team, on their new team next season?
Well, Colton, I think that honestly, Braden Holtby is going to have the most impact. With Vancouver having one of the youngest teams in the league and the most promising teams in the league, as they made it to the second round, I believe, this playoffs. Yeah, so I think Braden Holtby is going to have the best, especially with his 2 years going to be there.
So I am going to disagree. I think he's going to make a good impact, but I think that the most impact is going to be made from Jacob Markstrom, who Holtby is coming in and replacing with Vancouver. Markstrom signed a 6-year deal with Calgary. He's one of the main reasons that Vancouver was really on the map this season. But also I want to point out Corey Crawford he signed with the New Jersey Devils. The Devils have been really weird over the past few years. They've been like almost there, and then they just fall off. They kind of remind me of the Sabres in that sense. So the fact that they have a solid goaltender along with Mackenzie Blackwood, who is still learning and has been a good goalie for them as well, I think that both of those, the young one in Markstrom and the veteran in Corey Crawford, are going to make really, really impactful impacts, I should say, for their teams.
Now, as you mentioned, Taylor, the Devils actually made it to the playoffs a few years ago, but got dominated by the Tampa Bay Lightning, who just won the Stanley Cup. Now, switching over from goalies to defensemen, and probably the biggest move in free agency, as a former St. Louis Blues captain, Alex Pietrangelo, signed a 7-year deal with the Vegas Golden Knights with over $8 million a year. So, what do you think the impact will be with the Pietrangelo now on the Golden Knights, and can they finally get over the top and win that Stanley Cup for Vegas?
Well, I believe they can. With how good they've been with this year, make it to the conference final, I believe they can make it, especially with Pietrangelo's leadership skills, with him being the former captain of the Blues, and then just him taking over and being able to bring them possibly what they need to win.
I agree. I think that Pietrangelo going to Vegas is going to provide that leadership, like EJ mentioned, but you also have to remember that they have some veteran players on that team, despite being the most recent team implemented in the franchise, excluding Seattle. We're not there yet. But they have Pacioretty, who came as a captain from Montreal a few seasons ago. Pietrangelo now coming from the Blues, captaining them into a Stanley Cup championship last season in 2019. So that leadership, those two in particular, I could see them taking Vegas and just rolling with it, running with it. They've been so successful in their years just being in the league. And I would love to see what would happen if they took those leadership skills and took home a Stanley Cup with the newest team.
Well, guys, we are going to have to see, as that could potentially be without Marc-Andre Fleury, in goal for the Vegas Golden Knights. And that would do it for this week's edition of the Halftime Show, your world of sports in half the time. Thank you for joining us. I'm Colton DeBiase.
I'm Ben Tenuta.
And saying so long and hope you enjoy the rest of your day.